matchup so far ahead of us. Lumina Gaming versus Flying Fabians. My name is Retro, and I will be your caster for tonight. As I said, we have a crazy, crazy matchup between these two teams. Lumina Gaming, they are first in the Champions League, or they finished first in the Champions League Season 1. Flying Fabians finished first in the Premier League, so that's sort of the second-tier league in Revival. All eyes are on them. And all votes are on Lumina. I think something like 80% of votes are on Lumina Gaming right now. So everybody's expecting them to win, and I'm expecting quite the matchup here tonight. We've got Clubhouse coming out first, and we've already got some bands coming out. Flying Fabians taking care of Habana first and foremost. Not surprising. And actually quite expected. Habana is a very, very strong operator on this map. She can make defending basement pretty much impossible sometimes. She can take care of those hatches. She can take care of any other hard reinforced walls. She can make angles that you weren't expecting. She can trick you if you're trying to trick with the Cade. So unsurprising that she's the one to get out first, followed by Nook and Cade bans from Lumina. We've seen Nook get banned in, I think, every single map that we've had so far in the finals. Again, as I keep saying for the Nook bans, it's not surprising at all. She's a really, really strong operator. She has a great kit, even though that gun, that FMG, did get nerfed this season, or I think past season. It did get nerfed. She's still really, really strong. That gadget, she can sneak past any cameras that you may have. That gun, really, really strong, and of course, when suppressed, can be really difficult to spot where she's coming from, especially if she sneaks past your cameras. Frag grenades, let's not even talk about how strong those can be. Cade as well, just as much as Habana can make it really difficult to defend basement. Cade can be just as useful in making it pretty much impossible to attack that same site. So unsurprising that Lumina Gaming, who are starting on the attacking side, are choosing to get rid of him altogether. And then Solus to finish it off for Flying Fabians. Of course, you can deny any sort of intel, especially in that early round when you're trying to pick off any roamers that may be, especially on Clubhouse, which is a very roam-heavy map. And here we are. The action phase has begun. Flying Fabians have decided to go for a bar and stage defense first. It is a site that a while ago we didn't see get played at all in competitive Siege, but it has really made not even a resurgence, it has made a surgence of sorts in competitive leagues since its little rework that we had, I think, a year ago. So it's unsurprising that that's the one that they're going for, especially because a lot of teams still haven't adapted to it quite yet, and there's a lot of things that you need to get done before you can really attack it. And the attack is definitely commenced already. This is the second breach that they've opened up. They've already opened up that CC wall, making the defenders over on that side quite uncomfortable. And just as uncomfortable are the defenders on the western side of the map trying to defend from the Jacuzzi breach that has been opened by Zet. A minute has gone, and no lives lost, no damage done to anybody. As I say that, we do have a couple kills coming out, and another one as well. That's the fuser down now as Zet goes down, following his teammate. They do get the refrag though. Satsui goes down. That diffuser is still cold on the ground outside of that Jacuzzi breach, which is being guarded by Chi-Chi. It's going to, or actually, no, yeah, that is on the Jacuzzi breach. Is it? I kind of can't tell. Is it below or is it on the breach? Oh, thank you. It is on Jacuzzi, says Happy the producer. So, yeah, that is being guarded by not just Chi-Chi, but I think Shugeki as well. So they are going to be making it difficult to retrieve it. Or they have fallen back by now, as I was trying to figure out where it was. They have fallen back and given top floor control to Lumina, but Lumina yet to retrieve that diffuser. Are just setting up for that top floor setup to maybe try and go for a plant. Rooney just walks in looking a little bit too far into the room, gets taken out by Poker. And now, with time dwindling away quite quickly, 30 seconds left on the clock, that diffuser now in the hands of Lumina. They are having to push down these stairwells. No information to be gained as all of the drones have died in pocket of their teammates. Maggie does pick up one. Still 2 left to go. 15 seconds left on the clock. Has to push up, and it's a cross angle and a swing from Shugeki that finishes the round. And the first round is on the board for Flying Fabians. Great start from them. Great round from them. I think once that diffuser was lost, Lumina just stalled for a little bit too long, and it definitely ended up hurting them. As we can see, considering that they did lose the round. But another round is a go, and it will be basement. This is a pretty strong site as well. I think overall, Clubhouse is pretty defender-sided, more than most maps. The Siege, just by default and by its nature, is a pretty defender-sided game. Clubhouse does tend to be one of the most defender-sided maps, specifically because of that basement site, which tends to be pretty difficult to attack. You need like 2 minutes to even get all the way down there with all of your executes in order, and that's if you somehow manage to get that far without losing a body by that point. So it will be definitely interesting to see how Lumina are going to do this, and I think that the way that they're gonna maybe try to do this is a potential rush that might be over before it had begun, as we lose Solrus very early on to a spawn peak. That is unfortunate. That was their Ying, quite possibly the most vital operator in this attacking lineup at the moment. They have that Nomad, they have the Thermite, they have the Monty, they have the Iana. That's what made me think that they were going to go for a rush, because that's typically what a Monty and Ying on the same side indicate. But it's, that's going to be something to wonder about, in the future, seeing as we can't know whether that was going to be what they were going to go for with the Ying off the board. Rooney has made his way inside of the dirt tunnel, but that barricade is making it a little bit harder to actually push, and Joshi on the other end of the map does take a boost. That's Diana gone, and all of their frags that they had are also gone, or all of the frag grenades that they had are also gone. All eyes on Rooney right now. Everybody, apart from Joshi, is inside of Arsenal, just holding on and making sure that any potential advantage that Rooney could gain is nullified. And of course, that Azami is going to make any push from Rooney that much harder with those Kiba barriers. Of course, getting to smoke himself in as he has the can openers picked instead.
Bomb located
And of course, his teammates are all the way on the other end of the map, trying to maybe open up that hatch, or trying to open up both of the hatches, should they be allowed to do that. C4 still in pocket for Shugeki and for Joshi, and they will be just hard dropping this hatch into Moto. Zet makes his way inside of the site, and because everyone else is inside of Arsenal, this plant could actually work out. They do take out Rooney, but Maggie is here to support Zet. That plant will go down. A C4 will take out Maggie, and it's all down to Shigeki, who is also DBNO on the ground from that same C4, I do believe, and it will be Satsui to pick him off. Poker Life to get the defuse, and the second round on the board for Flying Fabians. I think that they may have lost that right away when they lost Solrus and Night Ying. Of course, losing Boost later on didn't help them either. But I think, yeah, losing Solrus, the Ying, that early on is definitely what lost them the round. Or maybe not definitely, but it is what made it a lot harder, seeing as they didn't have enough utility or enough bodies to pull off what they wanted. But that was a great read onto Flying Fabians, that nobody was inside of church and that they could go for that plant. I think that they win that had it not been for the C4s, but, you know, coulda, shoulda, woulda type situation, so you never really know what could have been or what should have been. But we do see Flying Fabians prepping the gym bedroom site this time. They are bringing the electrification. I wonder if Filker will be bandit tricking that wall, or will he just place him down and force him to waste EMP from the Thatcher. Interestingly, they are also bringing the smoke, who is crucial in denying entry and slowing down the push. Smoke tends to be the pace decider for most teams and for most situations. So we'll see whether that happens here and again, especially considering that the smoke, Joshi is playing on the cache side rather than close to the breach, so they will definitely be slowing down this push from garage and from inside of CC cache. That is Zet taking quite a little bit of damage on the wall, but it's Boost to get the first kill onto Chi-Chi. That is Jaeger gone. Great read through the wall, through two walls actually, is how he gets that kill, and that is a really, really great kill from him, allowing Rooney to walk straight in and forcing Joshi to rotate away and around to all the way down to Logi, clearing out a lot of this utility. That's all three ADSs that were placed on the cache side now gone. That breach on construction is open, as well as the main jacuzzi breach. So this is really, really great pacing here for Flying Fabians. They have that man advantage very early on, clearing out that shield. They know they don't have anything to worry about because all of those ADSs already pre-placed and shot by now. Setsui now locked behind this bedding. They could throw a grenade at him and he will be gone, but it will be Setsui to pick up the next kill. That is Rooney gone. Their Buck already did their due diligence so far with that hard breach, but it is a body that they will lose. Setsui does go down to Maggie. I think that was all the way from breach, as maybe they were trying to rotate back into sight. I'm not sure where that kill was, but nonetheless, it does give Lumina that much more of an advantage. That C4 pre-placed on the hatch drop. Poker picks up another. It's equalized again. 35 seconds left on the clock, and Lumina have stalled again. This seems to be a common problem for them, and that C4 could cause issues, but it will be actually the SMG-11 that will cause the issue. Does pick up one, and Joshi picks up another. Joshi now on very low HP does actually win that for Flying Fabians. Unbelievable clutch there from Flying Fabians, from Joshi to finish that round. That is very, very long range. Luckily, he had that shotgun to pick off the Iana, and their sights have reset. They could go anywhere they want. They could go back to bar stage, but they aren't. They are choosing to go CC. They're going to be doing a full rotation of this map, and they've put themselves in the driver's seat of this game for sure. This is a really strong position for them to be in. They are up 3-0 on the half so far. That means that they've secured themselves at least an even split, which is very, very important when you are playing Clubhouse. And this is, well, it's quite surprising. I will admit that it's quite surprising to see this turn of events, considering that Lumina Gaming are the sort of quote-unquote objectively better team. You know, they are in the higher league. They have a 14-0 record in the league. They haven't lost a single game, and they were playing against higher rated teams just inherently because they are in the higher league than Flying Fabians have.
5 seconds left before
And yet here we are, 3 rounds down on Clubhouse, and Lumina Gaming cannot get their foot in the door. Their problem so far that I've noticed seems to be pacing. They get that initial push done. They get those breaches open. They get maybe even a first pick or two. They get that advantage early on, and then they are unable to capitalize off of it. And that's something that has to change if they want to stay in control, or if they want to take control of the game and stay in it. And it will be Chi-Chi messing up the trick by a little bit. There goes the first kill, Zet with exothermic charge to take out Chi-Chi. That's the bandit gone, and the breach open. Those fireboats will be slowing down the push just a little bit. They were, of course, sent up there to prevent the bandit trick from Chi-Chi, but of course that's not even necessary anymore, seeing as he's dead. Rooney making his way up these stairs and does down Satsui. Satsui will go down to a firebolt. There goes Zet going down as Maggie is also picked off by Shugeki. And I think we're seeing, Flying Fabians again taking control of the round, even though they didn't have it to begin with. They lost that first pick. They looked like they were losing control of the map as well, but then they regained it, and it doesn't seem to be a problem for them as much anymore. Lumina do have man advantage, but just barely, and that time is dwindling down. They're going to have to hurry up to try and get as much information on these defenders, try to pick them off. That seems to be working for them, as Solrus does pick up Shugeki. It's all down to Poker and Joshi to try and hold on to this side. Smokes are coming out to cover up that breach, and they have information about Poker and his rotate. It's all down to Joshi now. They know exactly where he is. The plant has gone down. It's a cross angle. He does pick up one, but he is getting challenged from the lounge as well by Rooney. Rooney will be locking him out in here in this lounge lobby. And there goes the pistol whip to take out Joshi and to put the first round on the board for Lumina Gaming. Great job there from Lumina to take this site and to take this map. I think definitely what helped them was getting that first pick and then pushing out Satsui as well on rafters. But it didn't look like it was going to be fully theirs for a moment there when things stalled again. They were lucky to get, or they did well getting those extra kills there as well, which allowed them to push at the site to get that plant down. And of course, Joshi and Poker being off-site didn't help Flying Fabians attempt either. But they are going back to basement, which they won by a landslide last time around, and Lumina Gaming this time deciding to not even go for the same push that they had attempted before, or that they were going to attempt before. Solrus off of that Ying that he picked before, picking Ying instead. They are still bringing that Iana, they are bringing the Monty again, and instead of the Thermite, they are bringing Zero, which could be really, really interesting. Zero, of course, is a very strong operator for Flank Watch, and I think this is the spawn peak that Solrus may have died to last time around, or it might have been the secret window. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, they all survive this time and are worry-free for the time being. That blue hatch is open. That could be the big playmaker here for either of these teams, depending on how Lumina decide to play it. And it doesn't look like there will be any roam presence whatsoever coming out from Flying Fabians. They set up for a roam. They did reinforce that jacuzzi wall, and they did place some new jammers upstairs. But they didn't go for it. Satsui with a C4 through the hatch to take out Boost. And again, those frag grenades die with the Iana. Zet does pick up the refrag and the trade onto Setsui. Not before that C4 had already done its damage. Salvos making sure to do as much vertical damage as possible with that buck shotgun. Zet picking up another. Zet absolutely flying Fabians right now as we speak. Throwing those drones for the flank watch for boost to hold onto Joshi in a power position. Poker in an even more power of a position on the flank, but he does get spotted, so he has to fall back. Can't risk this. Chi-Chi on the Azami, still trying to hold off the push from Dirt, but again, that blue hatch could be the playmaker here, should somebody decide to drop it and just kill Chi-Chi, maybe even through the wall. It will be Chi-Chi to take out Zet. I think that was a hatch drop, perhaps.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Chi-Chi does go down.
Bomb diffuser.
Joshi picks up one. Soros going for that plant. It's Rooney who's hunting these defenders, does take down Joshi. It's all down to Poker with that plant down now. Getting pushed by this Monty. He's going to have to go for the res. Will get pushed by Rooney. Does take out Rooney. It's all down to Soros. They do have HP advantage on him, but they don't have any information about his whereabouts. Oh my lord, and that's 2 air jabs now that are slowing down Joshi on the roam slash flank. C4 goes out as well, hits Poker more than it does Soros, and they have to go for the defuse, and now to be able to do anything, they are going for that defuse, and Poker finishes off Soros as that diffuser does get disabled, and Flying Fabians just managed to get away with it to save this round for themselves. That was really looking like it was going to be another round for Lumina. Honestly, so close. Yeah, I agree. That was very close. That was looking like it was going to be Lumina's round, especially after Zet got a couple of those kills. I'm not sure what happened in the midst of all of that. There was a lot of action happening all at once. But definitely a great try there from Lumina. Unlucky that C4 kill right away, and unlucky on that defuse. I think they were about... they were definitely less than a second away. They were something like 0.1 seconds away from winning that on time alone when Joshi got on that diffuser. So definitely unlucky there. Perhaps Rooney got a little bit aggressive when they baited him with that res on bottom of main stairs. But you know, it's one of those situations where what would you have done? You know, it's high stakes, it's high pressure. You can't really think too much about it. But great try. And we are going back upstairs to gym bedroom. Last time they played this site, Flying Fabians won by a clutch from Josh, which was quite a crazy clutch. I think after they got the first opening, the first 2 kills from the Cash side, that was really looking like it was going to be their round, but again, they just weren't able to capitalize off of the advantage that they had early on. This time, those walls will be reinforced completely, so Boost will not be getting lucky with that early pick again. And they are going to clear this Mew Jammer, so Joshi's position will be revealed. And that wall will get opened up as well. Boost will be trying to go for a nade into red. They do burn that C4 with... they do burn that ADS with the Ash Charge. And the first 2 kills do go to Flying Fabians. Make that the first 3 as Chi-Chi and Joshi both pick up one apiece. And then some. That wall will be getting opened up. What else did they open? I think it might have been construction wall that they opened up earlier, because they did hear that exothermic charge go up. So it's the ultimate duo now to try and win this round for Lumina Gaming. It is the Thermite Thatcher combo. Those Mew Jammers making it impossible to find information on these defenders for Lumina here over Zet. Maggie's still just trying to hold on to angles, trying to find somebody to just peek into them and get maybe an easy pick of sorts. Joshi inevitably will be hearing Zet pushing inside of construction, and this could be the playmaker here. Zet looking the wrong way, still exposed to Joshi, and there go the kills. Zet does pick up one, gets immediately traded out. Maggie does get one, gets immediately spotted by that alibi Prisma. And with diffuser cold on the ground and 30 seconds left on the clock, Maggie does get another. This is suddenly looking a lot more winnable. Tries to go for a drone, has to find information, does find information about Satsui, but there's still so much to do. They have all of these angles covered. They can see them on the window, that barrel sticking out through the woodwork of the window. Has to jump into construction and gets shut down immediately by Satsui. Flying Fabians, putting themselves on quite the advantage this half. What a half this has been for them. That is a 5-1 lead for them to go into their attacking half. I know said that Clubhouse tends to be quite defensive-sided. I'm not sure if it's necessarily 5-1 defender-sided, especially when we've got a team like Lumina Gaming coming up against them. I think we definitely should mention the fact that they did lose Juno, who's one of... Juno? Jono. They lost one of their best players on the team. They did have to replace them with Boost. So that could be, a bit of an imbalance, a bit of chemistry. The Panther's not quite there yet. Maybe just communication is falling short. But still, you don't have a 14-0 record in a league with because of just one player. Like, that doesn't happen. A player cannot carry you that much. And we know that that's not true because we've seen this team play before. We've seen this team absolutely decimate teams ahead of them. We've seen all of them absolutely go off. So I'm quite shocked that this is the result that we are seeing here. And hopefully they pick up some rounds here and take us to overtime, because or maybe not even to overtime, maybe they just completely wipe out on their defensive half. But they cannot afford to lose. They won only one round on attack. They cannot afford the same from Flying Fabians. I guess they could afford to lose one round, but then they're forcing themselves into overtime, which, is already putting a strain onto you when you've got a best of 3 ahead of you. That drone will get Mozzie, then the first pick will go to Flying Fabians as Rooney just gets absolutely decimated. I'm not even sure where that was. That might have been through the wall or through a window. Joshua will pick up the next one. That's the Jackal picking up the second roamer. And the site that is typically impossible to attack, that basement site, is suddenly wide open for Flying Fabians to just take in and attack. Zet is still on this roam, as is Maggie, so they put quite a lot of roaming presence onto this defense. Oh, Maggie does return back to site safely. I think, yep, there we go. Jackal pings and drone pings going out onto Zet. Does get down and does get taken out by Satsui. It's now down to a 2v5 for Silvers and Maggie to try and hold on for this round. They know exactly where they are. Silvers does pick up one. That's a great kill into Shugeki. But Flying Fabians still have a minute left. Silvers does return back to site safely as well. But they have enough drone power and enough time to still pull this off without a worry. Although that time is slowly starting to dwindle away. So if they want to make this work, they are going to have to get on with it. Blue hatch gets opened up as well, cutting off even more angles, and there go those cams. Getting hacked but now for flying Fabians.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Saurus does pick up another, does get immediately traded out, however, and it's all down to Maggie now in a 1v3. 25 seconds left on the clock. Diffuser in control of flying Fabians. All they had to do is drop the hatch and go for the plant, which is exactly what they are doing, but it will be poker from a long angle all the way from church door to pick off Maggie and put flying Fabians on match point. Great round there for flying Fabians, getting those early 2 picks and then also getting Zet. Great try from Solrus to pick up a few of those kills, bring it down to a 2v3, but there's only so much that you can do when you're already at such a large disadvantage. Lumina needs everything that they can get at this point. They are on the biggest of back foots, and they need to take a timeout. A timeout was necessary for them. About when they were 3-0 down. I think that was the first warning sign that they absolutely need to take a timeout. I think then winning the next round after that, winning the round on CC, maybe gave them a false sense of security and thought, oh, well, we've clearly rectified everything that was wrong because we won that round, even though that also came a lot closer than it should have. But I think at this point, a timeout is beyond necessary. They are being put onto match point. They've won only 1 round so far this match. They have to win 5 in a row when they haven't even won 2 in a row.
10 seconds to insertion.
And they're not taking a timeout. That could really, really hurt them.
5 seconds left before insertion.
They are going back to basement.
Attackers must locate.
Hopefully it goes better for them. They're bringing a pretty different lineup this time, bringing the Warden, bringing the Goyo, sticking with that Valkyrie, but bringing the Legion and the Oryx for the Rome instead. So we're taking some damage getting these walls open, but it will be a rush through Dirt Tunnel. Shugeki does get downed somewhere upstairs. I think that was through the main window. Zet is prepared, does get 1. Can he get 2? Cannot get the second, but Shugeki still DBNO. Chi-Chi does pick up Zet, however, on very, very low HP. C4 still in pocket for Maggie and for Boost. Rooney looks away, just the wrong moment, turns back around to pick up Poker, and it's all down to Chi-Chi on very low HP. Does go for the res onto Shugeki, but they're both at about 15 and 20 HP. This is the miracle that Lumina needed. I still think that they should take a timeout, even though they have all of the advantage that they could need. I'm not sure Kig says Tsui. I hope that that's not something that you can do. Not to say that that's what Flying Fabians would do, but just sort of generally, I hope that that's not something that you can do in a competitive game, because I know that there would probably be some teams who would want to abuse that. They still have 2 of those line scans in pocket. They have 6 flashes between them. Not a whole lot of information, although Chi-Chi does have 2 drones in pocket that he could use. However, those ghoul mines will definitely be trouble as well. Chi-Chi looks the wrong way, and it's Maggie and Solrus at the same time to pick up the final 2 kills and pick up another round for Lumina Gaming. Despite having... I appreciate the free round, says that, yeah, you definitely needed it, but I think when you need more is a time out. Take a timeout. Maybe they don't want to take it right now because, oh, we won a round. Let's keep up the momentum. But that was indeed a free round. You know, it was a rush, which they got 2 kills off of, and then picking off the Amaru very early on from, I think that might have been a spawn peak, or might have fallen off the roof. Who knows at this point. That was very much a free round, and that's not something that they should be settling in the confidence of. But at this point, they have no chance to, lose a round and then lose the momentum and then be like, okay, let's take a timeout now. If they are going to take a timeout, they should take it soon because they need to discuss what's happening. But I think we're more likely to see a timeout coming up from Flying Fabians. Should they lose another round or two, they might think, okay, well, we were up 5-1 on the half. What happened? Yeah, I really hope that we see a timeout here. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this timeout. Anyhow, we are seeing a gym bedroom defense here from Lumina Gaming. I find it interesting that that is the site that they feel the most comfortable with, coming off of a win on Church after they almost didn't win Church, considering that they lost it the first time around. Bringing a similar lineup to Flying Fabians, except swapping in that Warden, and that wall will get opened up, seeing as they brought no electrification. I think it was also the Zami that they didn't bring, but I know that they brought her a lot on other sites. And I love what Solrus is actually doing with that Azami, creating a lot of angles with those Kiba barriers to cover off any sort of sight lines, especially from those windows, which is very, very important. A lot of these walls opened up now, a minute gone, and they have what they need to get the setup in. Those drones spotting out Zet. He's unaware, I believe, of Sledge's presence inside of CCTV already. It will be Boost who will be rotating away from that top red shield. Oh, and that is Satsui nearly committing suicide with a grenade. That could have been really bad, and they are wasting all of this utility on that shield, which, the position of which has been vacated for quite some time. Zet will be holding on with their life inside of Cache. Those prox alarms will be spawning out the rest of these attackers as they're pushing in. Zet making sure to shoot out any drones that are coming in. And this might be a wallbang here coming out from Chi-Chi, and it is Chi-Chi with a wallbang to clear out Zet. But look at how much time Zet has wasted. He has been alone in there for about a minute and has wasted another minute. Poker does pick off Maggie, and now that time advantage that they had is starting to slip away from them. Solrus is still in a power position inside of construction that could just be the winning play, but does get cleared out pretty much immediately as I say that. Tugeki with the kill, and it's all down to Rooney and Boost. Boost does a little bit of damage onto, I think that's Satsui. Not enough to kill him, however. There goes Shigeki, goes down. That's the fuser down as well inside of construction. They retrieve it. Oh, Rudy gets a little bit too aggressive. Does get the trade. Boost gets one, but he's on very low HP now. Does get swung at the same time, but two of them, Flying Fabians, win the round and win the map. What a shock that this has created. I mean, 80% of votes were on Lumina Gaming. They are the Champions League champions, and they have just lost 7-2 against Flying Fabians. I mean, absolutely insane scenes that we're seeing here right now. But this isn't over. We will be going to Chalet in just a little bit, so stay tuned. We will be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Revival League Upper Bracket Semi-Finals. My name is Retro, and I will be your caster for tonight. We've already had the first map between Lumina Gaming and Flying Fabians on Clubhouse. It was an absolute shock to, I think, everybody who has been following these two teams throughout the league so far. Lumina Gaming are the top seed from the Champions League, which in Revival is the sort of higher tier league, and they got absolutely decimated by Flying Fabians on Clubhouse. It was a 7-2 win, very, very confident. We are going to Chalet now. Lumina Gaming are starting on the defensive side. I'm hoping that it will go a little bit better for them, because that was just simply not something that you expect from a top seed team like that with a 14-0 record. I did briefly mention that they lost a teammate recently and got replaced by Boost, but still, as I said before, you do not achieve a 14-0 record in a league with just one player. It's just simply not possible for a player to carry you that much. There still has to be synergy enough skill in all of the rest of the players to achieve that kind of a record. So it's just a shame to see them struggling this much without... I forgot the name again, but if you've been following, you probably know who they are. Juno, something along those lines. Anyhow, we are here on Chalet. The bands have already gone through, as I was told. It's Jono, says Happy. Cool. Yeah, they've lost Jono. I apologize. There is a Juno player as well, and my brain gets mixed up. Okay, I'm not very clever. Anyhow, yes, as I was talking, the bans have already gone through, and I think this is now 100% ban rate on Nook in the finals. I do believe that is 100% ban rate on Nook. Poor Nook, she does not get any love so far in these finals, or maybe she gets too much love and they're trying to hold back on that love. But of course, as I keep repeating every time that they ban her, which has been every single map so far, she is really, really strong. That kit is very, very powerful. Frag grenades, that deagle for short range fights. Although I don't know that anybody's necessarily using for short range fights. It's mostly you get somebody downed and then you finish them off with a deagle for cool points. But that FMG9, very, very strong. Frag grenades can sneak past all of your cams. Doesn't matter how many Valkyries you bring, she's gonna sneak past all of those, and you won't see her come in or hear her come in because she's very, very quiet when she's got that silent step on. So definitely unsurprising to see her get banned. Mute is not a surprise per se, but it is the first ban that we've seen so far coming out onto Mute. He can deny quite a lot of information. He can also deny any breaches getting opened up. So unsurprising that he's getting banned. Or, well, I see why he would get banned, but I don't see why they would necessarily leave Solus up. Of course, we do see that Zet is playing Solus, so that's probably why. But if you're trying to hold off that information gain, then Solus is your best bet. And early engagements coming out here from Boost, trying to take some pot shots onto Joshi, I do believe that was, or Satsui maybe. Yeah, that would have been Satsui. Taking a little bit of damage, I think, from that window that we do see Joshi playing on a piano. But not enough to take him down, just enough to force him to fall back a little bit. And this does bring us into the fact that they are defending the kitchen bar site. Kitchen dining. I apologize. Those fuel mines doing the work of slowing down the push from Satsui. But I do find their defense quite peculiar. Of course, you have to hold on to top floor to be able to hold on to the site. But they've just completely given over the office, which allows them, Flying Fabians to just completely open up the office floor, and which does also double as the dining ceiling. Grenades will be coming out, and that wall open. I don't know if Boost didn't know that it was open or just didn't expect anybody to be looking through it, which kind of a silly thing to do. Rooney does get a vertical kill onto Poker. That is the first kill for Lumina. They pick up another as Joshi goes down to a C4 from Maggie. Another vertical kill, and it will be set on the Rome. I do believe that drone that he had just shot out was not being watched. It's questionable whether that one was being watched as well. This flank could go to be very, very successful. Satsui does go down, go down the stairs, and fix off a Maggie. It's all down to Zet now and Rooney, but it will be Zet on that flank from upstairs to take out one, and it will be Rooney to take out two more and to put the first round on the board for Lumina Gaming. Great job there, great opener from them. You can see how excited Rooney is to have won that round. A great opener there from Lumina, although it was looking a little bit dicey there. Great flank from Lumina. That was definitely the round winner for them. So great job there. Right. I don't think I quite finished about the bans, which is funny going back to it now.
Attackers have located
But
a bomb.
the interesting ban there is the Monty ban. I think that's the most interesting ban out of all of these, because all of the rest of them, they really make a lot of sense. And I think that the Monty ban may just completely be... Tetsu says skull emoji. Wow. Anyway, yeah, the Monty ban might just be a target ban onto Rooney, because we have seen Rooney play quite a lot of Monty before. We've seen them and bring the Monty in the previous map. Because other than that, and other than maybe the basement site, which tends to be a lot less favored than any of the other sites, Monty's not that strong. Obviously, Monty's strong, you know, at a baseline sort of level, but not enough to warrant the ban. You know, he's definitely not an Azami, which is strong all of the time, at quite a high rate, no matter who's playing her. Just because she's really tough to deal with and requires exclusively explosives to counter Boost. Getting challenged here from those library windows. Getting some support from Solrus as well, who is in quite an exposed position there. Could get shot from that office balcony window. Does pull back to the top of library shield, and it will be that Ying to clear out Boost. Chi-Chi taken out two, and that's top floor control now fully and securely in the hands of Flying Fabians. That Ying, absolutely crucial for this attack. Those drones spotting out Rooney as well. That will be chancing another flank. Looks away in just the wrong moment. That was a free kill onto Chi-Chi. Does look back and does pick up the kill onto Chi-Chi. Getting challenged from that window, but it was not enough for Poker to actually get that kill. Again, top floor control with 90 seconds is perfect pacing here for Flying Fabians. They absolutely could do this. Zep picking up his barbed wire to, I think, relocate a little bit further up those stairs, which is a very risky play, but not necessarily the wrong play or a bad play. That drone is spotting out the players inside of sight, and I think it did also spot Zet on that flank as well, so he will be rotating around to the other set of the stairs to try and achieve this flank. It will be Shugeki to challenge from these double doors, and that is Diffuser. This could be the playmate here from Zet. But he has to be careful, and the scope covers up Zet's head enough to grant him 2 kills, and that is the Diffuser cold on the ground on main door. Joshi gets one, flashes out to get another, is unable to achieve that. But as Joshi takes out Maggie, it's Satsui to pick up the last one onto Rooney. And it's game over. Flying Fabians, despite all odds, win another round. How many more times will Zet have to do everything only for Lumina to not capitalize? They capitalized off of it in the first round, off of that flank. He achieved a really great flank, again, if not better, getting that Diffuser down inside of the fireplace, getting that second kill onto Poker. But Lumina just not able to hold on and let this happen for them. It's like if I didn't know any better, I'd say they didn't want to win, because these are such winnable rounds for them, and they put themselves in a situation where they absolutely can win, and then they let it go, and it is hurting them. Chi-Chi switching off of the Ying, going for the IQ this time. Of course, the Ying is what got them the first 2 picks in the previous round.
10 seconds left.
And it's not even the playmaker, because that round was as good as lost after that flank. It was just not, which is a real shame. Zet taking care of these drones, going back to the Solus after playing a round on the Jaeger before. This could be quite an interesting little rivalry going on between Chi-Chi and Zet, seeing as they are the Solus and the IQ, so they can see each other through the walls. Could be quite fun. Those Valkyrie cams will probably suffer a loss of life rather early on, probably to that IQ scanner. And the nades are going up very early from this office balcony. They do down Solrus from that grenade, and I don't know if they know that he's down, but he's in an irretrievable position because every angle is being covered. That's a trade, and Joshi picks up 2 for the sake of 1. Solrus down. It's effectively 2 versus 4 for Lumina. Is that maybe chancing a run out, but can't because it's Claymored off. Maggie will be trying to go for a C4, has no information about the actual position of these operators, and there we go. That C4 and gets blown a little bit too early. It probably would have gotten spotted out by the IQ scanner had it not blown up anyway. Maggie joins Zet back on site, and they're gonna try and hold off onto this as much as they can in what seems to be a bit of a... It's not a stalemate. I forget the word that I was going to use. But Flying Fabians have definitely slowed down. They've gained all of the advantage that they need, and now it's just about gathering as much information as possible, which could be quite difficult against a Solus. They are trying to take care of... Well, I thought they were trying to clear out the electrification from below, but that doesn't seem to be where that grenade was coming to. So, I'm not sure that was necessarily what they were trying to do with that nade from below. Zet pushes out, does get 1, gets immediately traded out. It's all to Maggie. I'm not sure if they were unaware of that breach being opened behind them, or if they were just picking, one side to look at and chose wrong. But there goes another round for Flying Fabians. And it's not looking very good for Lumina, because another round was lost pretty much immediately for them. Losing people way too early and not being able to capitalize off of any advantage that they gain seems to be an overwhelming issue for them so far in this final. They graduated all the way into the semifinals. They didn't have to compete in the quarterfinals, where we saw Flying Fabians play before against Eternity. They absolutely decimated them as well. That was on Monday, where, everyone was talking about how, oh my lord, it's going to be a crazy game between Lumina and Flying Fabians on Wednesday. It's going to be scenes going on between these two teams. It's the top seed of both leagues. This is going to be the craziest matchup of all time. It's going to be 3 full overtime maps. It's going to be crazy, and then it's a 7-2 win for Flying Fabians, and a setup for another on at defender-sided Chalet on some of the most defender-sided maps in the game. Maps. Sites, I meant. Oh, and Josh, he's so unlucky on that window. Does not spot out the Jaeger. That is Zet picking up his 6th. This could be the start of something new for Lumina. That first pick, absolutely crucial for them. Can they achieve anything with it is the question. Boost getting challenged from these windows. Those nades coming out. That cooked just a little bit too much. But it doesn't matter because it's the gun that finishes him off instead of that nade. Solrus getting droned out quite extensively here. Still has that shield in place. This is the power position. But he has to fall back because he doesn't have that cover anymore. C4 goes out and it does pick up Satsui. Great kill there for Maggie to try and salvage this yet again, putting the men advantage back into the hands of Lumina Gaming after losing it briefly. Another C4 ripped from... Nope, it cannot be a C4. It might have been a proxy that Solrus was throwing out. I think it was a Toxic Bait that Rooney was holding on to. Because I saw the position of the hand being sort of in a gadget prep position, but it cannot be a C4 as the only C4 on the defense has already blown up. A minute left on the clock for Flying Fabians here. The diffuser is in the hands of Shigeki. They do have that top control. They are ripping that those floorboards up, and they are doing quite a lot of damage onto Rooney as well. But when you're playing Siege, you are playing against, when you're playing Siege on attack, you are playing against 6 players. Effectively, you're playing against the 5 defenders. And then you're also playing against time. And time is a valuable, valuable thing in this game. It's dwindling down for Flying Fabians. They are going to be smoking out this hatch drop, as well as yinging it out. They are going to be trying to go for a rush plant, maybe inside of A site, and they are doing exactly that. The bar gaming plant is going down. Poker does take 1. It's Maggie to push straight in and get another on a sliver of HP. It's Chi-Chi to pick up Solrus. And it's all down to Maggie as Rooney is downed inside of site, gets picked off, and Maggie now on a sliver of HP does pick up Poker. Oh, and it is Chi-Chi to pick up the final kill and win the round for Flying Fabians. And yet again, we see Lumina make the same mistake of not being able to capitalize off of the advantage that they are given. They had man advantage twice, and they were not able to stick it out. This is the time for a timeout yet again. They needed timeouts pretty much every single round last map. And this is definitely a position in which, if I were their coach or their analyst or even their IGL, somebody in a position to make that call, I would make that call right now. They are down 3-1 on a defensive-sided Chalet. Although I guess in competitive it might be a little bit less defensive-sided, might be a little bit more attacker-sided, but it's not quite this attacker-sided. You should not be, especially not when you were given that advantage. They are not losing this because their setup is bad, or because, you know, they are getting rushed and they don't know what to do with it. No, they are playing this by the book. They're playing this exactly how you're supposed to be playing it. They have a strong setup, a setup that works, a setup that I'm sure was a reason for why they had a 14-0 record in the league. And that's not what they're losing. They're not losing because of their setup. They are losing because they are unable to capitalize off of the advantage that they gain. They gain that advantage either by man count or by time, and they just don't do anything with it, which is a flaw that you see with a lot of teams. You know, a lot of lower place teams in the league struggle with that. You know, a lot of teams that didn't even get to the finals. You know, a lot of those like 6, 7, 8 place teams. They have that issue of not being able to do anything with the advantage. But you do not expect to see that from Lumina Gaming, pretty much ever. So this is a time for a timeout. A minute gone, and they've already given up control of the library side. They pulled back to the office and bedroom side. Again, not well reinforced. Given control over to Flying Fabians should they want to go for any sort of soft destruction onto dining room. Last time, Flying Fabians did not go for... Oh, and a vertical grenade! And some pot shots do a lot of damage onto Shigeki. Unfortunately, not enough to kill him. Unfortunate there from Lumina. I think those metal bars might have prevented that kill a little bit. That could have been the start that they needed again. But now that hard breach is still on board. Boost does go down to Chi-Chi, and Solrus is having to pull back even further. That wall getting opened up again. This time aware, last time wasn't. Those windows as well, now causing a serious issue for Solrus. Zet going for another flank. This has worked in the past, doing a lot of damage onto Ash, but is not able to finish it off. And it does end poorly for Zet. 3 versus 5 again for Lumina Gaming. Solrus could be in the strong position here, could get a lot of kills if he remains undroned, but I do believe he just got droned as he does have to relocate. Maggie will go down inside of West Main, and these numbers are looking horrible for Lumina. However, that time could be the winner, but it won't be. Joshi and Satsui pick up one apiece to bring a flawless round for Flying Fabians. This is not looking good for Lumina at all. This could be the same split on the half that they had in Clubhouse, where it was a 5-1 split for Flying Fabians. Except it's worse because Lumina Gaming were the first ones to win a round, and then just let every single round after that slip away from them. I want to say that a lot of that came down to Zet, you know, whiffing the shots first on the thermite and then on the Ash later on. But again, you should not be relying on to one player that much. Especially, and I do have to preface this with, Siege is not a game of kills. Kills aren't everything in this game. There's so many statistics that aren't shown on your screens right now that could tell you the value of a player and the skill of a player way more than 20 kills ever could. But it should not go unmentioned that Boost and Solrus, with 5 rounds gone, are both on 0 kills. Both 0 and 5. That is a really bad look for Lumina. Especially when, you know, it's not like, okay, they have 0 and 5, but they were on cams or they were droning their entries in, so they are 0 and 5, but they got those plants down, those diffusers down. they wasted a lot of time. They droned out the defenders. They, you know, did this, that. It is mostly due to losing their lives very early on and not wasting that time that they are pretty much hired to do. And we see it again, Chi-Chi picking up the first kill yet again, and it will be boost again. Solros taking a lot of damage, has to fall back. Very, very low HP now for Solros. And giving that advantage to Flying Fabians again. And this is exactly what I was talking about. This isn't, you know, they are dying, but they are still achieving so much. No, they are losing the most valuable positions that they could possibly be holding on to. And, you know, it cannot be understated, Flying Fabians are going for a really, really strong push. Maggie does get a kill through the hatch, but does get immediately traded out by Shigeki from the window. Unfortunate positioning there through those head holes. Zet getting a little bit aggressive, probably desperate to try and salvage something here. Does get a kill to equalize again, but gets immediately traded out. And this is the problem. Finally, a trade coming out from Solros, picks up his first. It's all down to Solros and Rooney. Solros on non-existent HP. Rooney still has quite a lot to contend with, but does get immediately taken out by Chi-Chi as I say that. 1v2, make that 1v0, or make that 2v0, as Joshi picks up the final kill of this half. Well, not much can be said about that. It was just another really, really good execute from Flying Fabians. I think I've been going into Lumina a little bit too much. I think I'm just surprised that they are playing the way that they've been playing. I think that they're a team that can definitely achieve a lot more than we are seeing. And I think, you know, I'm getting maybe my emotions a little bit too into this, you know, like, oh, come on, guys, you know you can do this. Why aren't you doing what we all know that you're capable of? But to their defense, Flying Fabians are playing impeccable Siege right now. We saw that on Clubhouse. We are seeing that again here on Chalet. When I say that Lumina Gaming aren't able to capitalize off of the advantage that they're given, Flying Fabians do not have that same problem. They might, you know, die, but they will immediately pick up the trade. We saw that last time, you know, they got a pick, they died. They got a pick, they died. They got a pick, they died. It was always followed up with a trade. They never send in a player alone or without somebody near enough to get that trade. And that is definitely a part of why they are winning, on top of just having a really, really good attack against those setups. So, again, they are just playing impeccable Siege, but you know, Lumina aren't foreign to great Siege, so it's just a little bit surprising that they are unable to execute on that as well. Poker in one of the strongest positions on this map, definitely for this site defense. Very, very tough to clear out. Those ADSs making it even harder. Can't really be shot out or shot at from many angles. And a first engagement coming out from Zet onto Setsui. There goes the first pick for Zet so far in this half. Maggie's still trying to chance a kill onto Poker, hoping he peeks maybe a little bit too far and to get that easy kill. But little do they know that Poker has already rotated away downstairs. I think the drones have probably by now spotted out the fact that that library room is vacated by now. 90 seconds have gone, and Lumina are in a pretty good position having that top floor control, but there's still so much work for them to do to actually win this out. Solvers will be pushing down these library stairs. Josh, he will be waiting for them. Thus, has to pull out rather, as those walls are getting opened up as well, and that hatch gets opened up. Solvers throwing down this Flora's drone, spots out Poker. Now they know that he's inside of Mudroom, but it's Joshua with a pre-fire to pick off Solrus. And 50 seconds left on the clock. This is looking a lot tighter for Lumina. They pick up one. There goes Rooney with the kill. Knows there's Poker inside of Mud. Picks up another 2K for Rooney, but it's another 2K for Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi and Shugeki. Chi-Chi picks up another. It's all down to Boost. Diffuser cold on the ground. Boost picks up one. It's all down to Zet now to try and, or it's all down to Chi-Chi now to try and hold on to this round, and he does just that. Chi-Chi picks up the final round the Flying Fabians needed to put themselves on the match point on Chalet. Really, really unfortunate there. Those were some good kills. That was really great pacing from Lumina Gaming for quite a while there. I think they slowed down a little bit too much. And when it came down to those 40 seconds, they got a little bit too aggressive. But again, they didn't have the cover that they needed. They didn't have the trades set up. Solrus did push down those library stairs, picked up a very beautiful 2 kills onto Josh and onto Poker. But again, Lumina weren't able to hold on to the advantage that they had. Chi-Chi picked them off one by one. Picked up another 2, made it a 2v2. Picked up another on the other end of the map. Boost tried their hardest, but it wasn't enough. And now they find themselves on match point, having to attack the bedroom site for the first time. Losing some of those drones already in the prep phase to the Solus. It's one of the reasons why she's so strong, why she's so loved. Especially in competitive play, where drones are utilized a lot more than they are in a typical ranked game. And this will be a sort of entire floor setup, which is very typical for this site. You know, you can't really hold it by just holding onto the site. You need to have that library control. You need to have Solarium control just as well. Lumina setting up the attack to go for that library push first and foremost. Those were my magnets. Will be protecting Chi-Chi in this chimney position from any rogue grenades that may be coming from either the window on off this balcony or from the library window. Poker takes out Rooney. I'm not really even sure where from. Does take quite a lot of damage. Was that maybe from below? I think that might have been from the hatch and then into the jump-in, or maybe into the jump-in onto the office balcony window. Wherever they got it, Solrus picks up the refrag. That shield now gone. Solrus picks up another, gets immediately traded out, and it will be Sui with another kill. Maggie trades that out as well, and now with 2 minutes left to go, we find ourselves in a 2v2. Lumina, inside of sight, could go for a plant, but they do need the cover. They can't go without the cover. Maggie now in position to cover off a swing, but a C4 is still in hand from Satsui. Josh picks up Maggie, and it's all down to Zet. It will be Joshi from inside of the other site to pick off Zet as well. And that's a 7-2 and a 7-1 win for Flying Fabians on Clubhouse and Chalet against the top seed of the Champions League, Lumina Gaming. What a great matchup this has been. I can't put too much blame on Lumina. They did lose a player, so, you know, the roster is probably a little bit off. Chi-Chi and Joshi going 13 and 10 in this game. Absolutely insane. I think that there's definitely some issues with Lumina. I think that their pacing maybe is a little bit off. And, you know, I keep stressing it. They can't really take advantage, or they can't really capitalize off of the advantage that they are given. But it was still a great matchup nonetheless. They aren't done for yet. They are going to be relegated into the lower brackets, so we'll still see more from Lumina Gaming in this tournament. But as for tonight, we are done. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.